Hello everyone, Briximus Prime back for another Transformers action figure review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy, Elita 1, and Minerva. So anyway, let's just get right on into the review by starting with the packaging. Both of their packaging is very similar to each other, with both of them having their very similar vehicle modes right here on the front. They both say Transformers Legacy, they have their names right there. They both say Transformers. They got some nice images here of their faces right there, and then they got some more full body shots of them right there. Here on this side, got this artwork. Authentic Transformers! Here on the back of the packaging, they both literally have like the exact same pose and like everything, except since Minerva's an exclusive, she doesn't get the barcode treatment, which, speaking of the barcode, and when you scan the barcode, takes you to Hasbro.com, got a little gif of Elita 1, says her name is Elita 1, says her function is a resistance leader, she's part of the Shield of Solus, Cybertronian cars, what she turns into, Origin Universe G1. She has dual Energon rifles, they shoot out streams of concentrated Energon blasts. Elita 1 bravely leads the resistance forces, standing fearless in the face of danger. Her strength is an 8, which I found surprising, intelligence is a 10, which I found really surprising, speed is a 9, and then her firepower is an 8. I thought all of these were really surprising, actually. So anyway, that is basically it for the packaging on these two lovely ladies. And here's taking a look at the accessories included with the figures. First off, we get a shower cap with Elita 1, which looks like her forehead for some reason. Honestly, I have no idea why this is even included. And then Minerva comes with a light bar, and this, of course, just pegs right onto the back. That's more for the vehicle mode. And then now getting into the weapons. Elita 1 has these hologram guns. Even though these do feel like pretty sturdy plastic, I'm still worried about these eventually breaking at some point, like one of these barrels coming off later on in the future or something, but it's just something to be aware of. I'm not the biggest fan of clear plastic on guns. But Minerva does also have clear plastic right here with this gun, as you can see, but it is painted in this black, and I actually think this looks a lot better, but again, I hope this doesn't break over time. And overall, I actually prefer this gun out of all of them. And then, oh, there it is. It almost went invisible for a second. This is Minerva's ghost gun. Ooh. Maybe it's meant to be a metaphor because she's a field medic. She's supposed to save lives, not take them, and so her gun is invisible, almost like it's absent from her character. No, it's probably just Hasbro being stupid with their clear plastic again. And now let's take a look at Minerva and Elita 1 by starting with Elita 1. And here's taking a look at Elita 1. I'd say she's fairly pretty looking. I mean, she's meant to be a robot, so it does make her seem a little more humanoid, but overall, it doesn't really bug me. I mean, there's other Transformers that have that same kind of feature, and so it doesn't really bug me too much. Very similar to some other Transformers, they do make Elita 1 here do look a little more human than she probably should. Like, for example, the placement of the colors, it makes it look like the white is actually like skin, and like the red and pink and the hot pink are like clothes. And so if you look at it that way, it starts to look a little more who's it, hot hero, what? But overall, I think her head sculpt looks good. Again, I love metallic highlights on figures. It really brings out some extra life and just adds that little bit extra of, like, I guess, high quality to figures when there's that extra bit of, like, metallic paint added in there. She has a nice little Autobot logo right there. And overall, I love the panel lines, and everything looks pretty good. And overall, she's not the most feminine-looking Transformer, but she definitely has those feminine features. Let's not make this awkward. Overall, something that I like about the figure is, one, I like those white rims, but we'll go over that more in the vehicle mode. And Kibble, honestly, is not the best, but it's way miles better than what some other female Transformers have had in the past. Yeesh! Going over Elita 1's posability, she has a ball joint at the head, which allows her to swivel from side to side, and it does get hindered a little bit by this one hinge joint at the back of the neck, so just be wary of that. These little bits on the backpack can shift around to accommodate for posability. Her arms can rotate forwards and back. outward movement, bicep swivel, slightly over 90 degrees of bend at the elbows, wrists do rotate. She does get a waist swivel. Hips can kick forward, they can kick back, they can move outward that far. She does have a thigh swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and then she does get ankle pivot. Pretty nice. Though one issue I do have here is her hip joints, sadly, are a little bit loose, and so she keeps on wanting to fall backwards, which is a shame when she has all this backpack and she's very top-heavy, and she tends to fall over. Now, this is based on the G1 Elita 1, where, if this was the Elita 1 from the IDW comics...
Murdered me, Mommy.
And here is taking an up-close look at Minerva. And Minerva here has a very nice, she has a very lovely head sculpt, I think. I do think the orange is a little bit off-putting, but overall, I don't really have too many qualms with it. I like her kind of helmet here. And also, I do have to admit, I do like that they didn't try to forcefully give her the headmaster gimmick. I think she looks pretty good. And like I said, she's essentially the same figure as Elita 1, only except she has a completely different color scheme, and also she has to be exclusive to a pharmacy for some reason. Actually, the more I think about it, it's weird how Walgreens, a pharmacy with medicine, seems to be a place that also is getting the toys of medical officers who deal with treating patients and medicine. I like the blue in her eyes and here on the crotch. It gives a nice little bit of color it gives a little nice bit of contrasting color with the white and red. And also I like the bits of black. I like how she has these glossy black tires. I know I said I was going to try to keep creepiness to a minimum, but I did want to mention that she does have a pretty good... Damn, boy! And overall, I think that those feminine features also go down to her thighs right down here.
I can hear their pens scribbling in my head.
But thankfully, the Hasbro designers were not complete degenerates when it came to her chest. Going over the posability, it's basically the same thing as Elita 1. Well, the head, it's not really all that different. Can't really look up or down a whole lot, and be careful because it does feel a little bit wobbly and that could break at some point, so just be sure you keep an eye on that piece. It is wobbly, so it is wobbly. Besides the gold accents, Minerva and Override seem to have a very similar color palette and like design choices. And for comparisons, here's Elita 1 and Minerva compared next to another pair of my favorite female Transformer characters, who I think are actually some of the best ones Hasbro's ever done, the Black Arachnia and the Beast Wars Air Razor. Here's Elita 1 and Minerva compared next to the last Transformers Legacy figure I took a look at, the Legacy Evolution Tarn. Are you flipping kidding me right now? And here is Elita 1 compared next to that Netflix Elita 1 as well. Almost forgot that comparison. And then just for the sake of Valentine's Day, here is Elita 1 compared with Optimus Prime. So anyway, that's it for the comparisons. Now let's get these two into their vehicle modes. And we're just going to start with Elita 1, just like we did in the robot mode. And here's taking a look at Elita 1's car mode here. And I actually think this is the best vehicle mode Elita has had since G1. I think this is the best thing that they've given her so far. I like how it's very, like, 80s, but while also staying very futuristic / Cybertronian / Earth mode. Like, it's a nice blend of, like, everything Transformers when it comes to an alternate mode. I like the blend of everything. I also like the colors, which look very reminiscent of the colors for the Rise of the Beasts RC, by the way. And again, that little cap does look a little weird, which you can have it just removed off the figure, and that does make it look a little bit better, but now you've got nowhere to put this, so might as well just keep it on there. And I do like the windscreen here and how there's almost like a semblance of a seating area in there. And then I like how her feet convert into these big thrusters on the back, and overall I think the panel lining and everything looks pretty good. And it does roll pretty well. I just wish that the pins were a little bit more free to spin. And overall, I do like the overall color scheme of the Minerva version as well. Again, that brilliant blue plastic. I love the plastic choice they used for the windscreen. Again, it's a very nice, bright and vibrant contrasting color with the red and white. It's a very nice color scheme. I like the red Autobot logo melds well with it. I like the red stripe going across the back. As well as back here, I like how she has thrusters, because it kind of implies that she's an emergency vehicle that's trying to get somewhere quickly, so it's nice to see that she has thrusters to get where she needs to go. And also, I appreciate the extra light bar here, just to give that extra little bit of flair and a little bit of difference between her and Elita 1. We can complain about underside kibble all you want and like head visibility or whatever, but according to Bumblebee movie logic, head visibility syndrome is actually movie accurate. And also weapon storage should be pretty self-explanatory. Here they are compared with Optimus Prime's truck mode. Here they are with Tarn's tank mode. And then here they are compared next to the Netflix Elita 1/RC mold, and I don't really care to transform it. And honestly, I'm not really in the mood to transform Airazor or Black Arachnia for the comparisons either. Now that I think about it, I'm not really in the mood to do anything right now, honestly. Hello, darkness, my old. And that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Legacy, Minerva, and Elita 1. I think they're pretty good figures. The vehicle mode's nice, robot mode's nice. I like all the panel lines and everything within the shared molds. I also appreciate the robot mode and how it feels well engineered compared to some of the previous figures who really feel very half-baked and like they just tacked a vehicle mode on a female body mold from like a Marvel Legends or something. Again, I was willing to buy it 2 separate times as Elita and Minerva. And yeah, even in the vehicle modes, I do like Minerva just that little bit more, just purely because of the color scheme. I just like the bright, pristine white with the red. It's with that blue windscreen. It's just a good, nice looking vehicle mode. So comparing these figures to Optimus Prime is based on so much media and so much shows and movies and video games, etc. And you always want to get him into so many different kinds of poses to kind of recreate that stuff. Elita 1 and Minerva don't really show up in a whole lot, so it's not like you're trying to specifically recreate that one shot of Elita 1 in figure form. And so honestly, I don't really have much to really ask for out of posability with these two, just enough that I can get some dynamic action-packed poses out of them, and so they look good with the rest of the Transformers. Now, I do like Minerva that teeny bit more, but I think that's just because I just like the colors, but also I seem to have a weird soft spot for Japanese characters. If I had to give these figures individual ratings, the Minerva, I give her a solid 8 out of 10, and the Elita 1, I give a solid 7 out of 10. The only reason is because of paint scheme. I really just like Minerva's paint scheme more than Elita 1. So yeah, that is basically it for this review and this Valentine's Day. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. It'll boost my self-esteem. And yeah, I'll just catch you guys next time, hopefully with less depression.